Hello, fellow human beings. How is it? It is me, your friend, the 25% cotton, 73% polyester, and 2% linen thigh sock here today, and we are going to be exploring all of the best weapons for the espionage in Tetris Attack 2 for the Nintendo Game Boy Color console. And of course, that involves using the entire set, because who in their right mind would ever use any weapons with the eternal reward but the, yeah, I'll see you in the pub. So, first of all, the only reason you'd ever use this loadout is because it's incredibly fun, but also it comes with a free unusual effect, as you can see. But, you know, all that bit aside, yes, today we're going to be looking at the Eternal Reward. It's been requested a couple of times, and I do like the Eternal Reward, and in terms of timing, it goes along nicely with the kunai, so we can talk about them both together. There's a man down here we can potentially shoot. I'm not sure where he went, but... oh, he's like up there somewhere. Use your nice earphones, and then you can hear where Spy's dead ringer. But, of course, as we win, we will be using the Dead Ring and the L'Étranger and the Eternal Rule together. It's the set. It's the original set, and in my opinion, it's the most fun set to put together. Just like, they were made for each other, all of these weapons. You're going to be undisguised a lot of the time at the start, so having the ability to either go around and have a little bit more mobility with more cloak, or get your cloak back without needing to go to ammo packs is solid, because a lot of the times ammo packs will be, what on earth was that stab? That was entirely by accident. Like, I did try to stab the medic, but I didn't expect to get it. Well, okay, then that gets past the first issue. As with the kunai, this is the only other knife in the game where you need to get the first stab to do anything at all. Am I this man? I'm not, I'm a friend, apparently. Hello, friend. So obviously, yes, you need to get the first stab, and the first stab, as always, will come from either a player that's very predictable and you can get an easy trick stab on, or the player sitting at the back. We're on 69 health, by the way, so we should avoid that health pack, as to avoid getting the god number. This sniper also probably saw us, maybe? Maybe not. Often, if you think a sniper's seen you, you should stop before you walk into that sight line and see if his sniper dot's there, and then often, like, you know, if that sniper had zoomed in on that wall there, I could have instead gone through this window and then shot him a couple of times like this. Oh, close. You can use this loadout, as always, to just basically peer around in pubs. I wouldn't recommend it in Highlander. The Eternal Reward in Highlander is, I think it's the worst knife, but it doesn't mean it's unusable. It is in lobbies. It is perfectly fine. Like, you're going to be peeing around anyway. It's a bit of fun. I wouldn't recommend using it in a completely serious environment, though, because it makes your job as a spy a lot harder. You can't coordinate with your team as well towards, you know, to sap sentries and stuff, because you need to complete that kind of little side quest first of getting the first stab. And in Highlander, well, there's a lot of comms. So if you die, so first of all, if someone dies and you're using the L'Étranger, they will probably call, what the hell is he using the L'Étranger? And then they'll also say, hey, the spy's running around as an engineer or whatever. So it's quite hard to get away. Ah, that would have been good, wouldn't it? Ah, that's a shame. The medic did know I was there, and I wasn't really fully prepared in my head, but that was probably a doable stair stab there. We could have gone off there and gotten the snipers. So yeah, that brings us to, like, the second point, or maybe the third. I've kind of already lost track. Good start. The Razorback is basically, it's a huge pain. There's no nicer way to put it than saying politely it's a huge pain, but yeah, it's your hard counter is the Razorback, and this is apparently a pub with a lot of Razorbacks. So if we can just get you, and there we go. The only way to counter it, I mean, you can stab the Razorback and then stab the sniper later, or you can just shoot him a couple of times. It's unfortunate because the L'Étranger, or the Eternal Reward is... No, I was right the first time. The L'Étranger is not terrific when it comes to shooting snipers. You kind of have to be up their nose to do enough damage to kill them in 3 shots. Unfortunately, you will probably die. You just need to practice. That's just the case of it. It is alright though, as you can see. It's not too bad to butter knife and L'Étranger medics to death. But yeah, Razorback's bit of a pain. I'm hoping the map isn't ending though, because I really want to continue playing upward. I love this map. It's great for pubs. So, another point. There you go then. Payload maps. This, how many times can a man say this in one sentence? This knife is amazing on payload. I'm using the context of pubs for now, because as I've said in Highlander and competitive, it's not that great. This is, to go on a tangent, this is the only knife that still has the silent killer on it. As you can see there, silent killer, no attack noise from backstabs. I discussed it on the kunai, but basically, it's really, really good. It's the reason the L'Étranger, the Eternal Reward is even... my brain. It's the reason the Eternal Reward is usable, is that when you backstab them, it doesn't show up in the kill feed, and there's no sound, so you can just backstab a bunch of people in a row and it's completely silent. That's wonderful. it's the only reason it would ever be usable in Highlander is that it's got Silent Killer, and they're kind of buffing it in the next update so you can get a disguise. I kind of want to think that it might even be viable in the next update purely because of the Silent Killer. That's how good it is. And just for reference, the Spicicle used to have Silent Killer on it for no reason. It was amazing. The old Spicicle was a direct upgrade to the knife, pretty much, and not enough people used it because they were afraid about the whole, oh, what if a fire sets me off? Yeah, people still use it now, even though the Spicicle's been nerfed. But anyway, that aside, I am using it with the Dead Ringer, which is purely because in the olden days, you used to be able to get a completely silent cloak with it. That was the set for wearing it with the fez. The set now is just this kind of unusual effect you saw me using at the start, which they removed. I mean, you're using the Razorback, so I can't kill you, but I can shoot you once. There you go. Yeah, you don't want to be outside of their spawn with this loadout. There's no way to be invisible. The only reason you're not going to die to them is if they... You're just a... Okay. The only reason that you're not going to die to them is if they just don't see you, and that's just something... That's just relying on luck. You want to stay somewhere near a giant ammo pack like I am now. There's one down there. The soldier's probably going to take it, yeah. He spy checked and said, thanks, soldier, so he probably knows what he's talking about. You basically just want to stay on the back lines. If you do end up somewhere stupid like here, that sniper probably heard us. Use the L'Étranger, get yourself some ammo back, hope the sniper doesn't headshot you. You can actually use the sniper to get us a bit of thanks. That sniper actually just saved our life by standing in the open and not killing us. He gave us enough stuff to get our ammo back. Here you go. Big top tip for the Dead Ringer. Sentries, you look at them, just consider it a completely free run. You can run over that pack, at least in the current update. You can run over that sentry gun and just get a complete full runaway. It's great. You can chain together Dead Ringers quite easily that way if you see a lot of dead mini-sentries and stuff. Unfortunately, they're heavy got us, but look, we've got loads of time to go and get this pack. So that's fantastic. And we can just run away. Well, that soldier died, so that's one of those ammo packs was our Dead Ringer one, but yeah. With this, at least with the L'Étranger, even though you were only picking up half ammo packs there, you can get the rest of your cloak back with just the L'Étranger. So I wouldn't worry too much about undead ringering on half ammo packs. Normally I'd say you should only really undead ringer on full ammo packs or somewhere you're safe. But with L'Étranger it's perfectly fine. Just undead ring in the middle of nowhere. I'm not even disguised. Like, they should have... Yeah. I was waiting for one of them to set it off. I need to be in a better position, so I'm basically just chaining together cloaks until I can find myself in a slightly better spot. Oh, I'm gonna die here. Maybe? No, I'm gonna die here. The soldier really, really wanted to kill this spy. Yeah, some people, your counter is the Razorback and people who really want to kill you. If you haven't got a disguise, it's fairly easy just to track you down because you do kind of have to run away to safe spots, and the safe spots are quite obvious. Here we go. What I needed to speak about, is invisible spies. Hello. I don't know where he went. This is probably a lot better with the Invis Watch / Cloak and Dagger. I'd say this is very, very solid with the Cloak and Dagger because the downside of not having a disguise is that people are more likely to shoot you. If you're invisible, that's, it doesn't really matter. So the Cloak and Dagger is solid, just being able to be invisible forever until the perfect stab shows itself. Quite solid. It lets you pick your stabs, you can kind of hide around, wait for a sniper to appear. Or like a soldier like that. If I was up on this rock with a Cloak and Dagger, soldier wouldn't have seen me, I could have known that he was around and then backstabbed him. Spy's like here somewhere, maybe? He's not waiting on the health back? Okay. So yeah, Cloak and Dagger I'd recommend. One of the few knives that it's just straight up probably better than the Invis Watch on, just because you probably, if you're probably using this in the pub, you probably want to be a bit more passive, just to try and get that first stab, and the Cloak and Dagger lets you get it. You can sit around for as long as you like. Hey, medic. Ooh. Great knife to learn to Matador on, so I'm not going to make a giant Matador tutorial, I'll give you a tiny little tutorial now. That medic from this position saw us there. He ran at us like this, and so I ran around him like this. You've basically just got to go concurrent to them. If they lean to the left, you've got to lean to the right. It's just a case of putting their backs... aiming their back is the best way to describe it. So if you want their back to be on your left, you have to aim to the right. It's something you just kind of pick up after moving for a bit. That medic probably saw us. He's worried we're going to just appear and shoot him like this soldier, yeah. Don't worry about the bullet spread, by the way. Don't bother waiting for the perfect shot. Just spam your shots, and you'll win most fights. Like, L'Étranger is solid. Probably should have just killed him there, because I was pretty worried he was going to headshot me, but he was spamming, so it wouldn't be that much of an issue. Here we go. Engineer. So this gives me a nice little topic to go into. One thing you can do to kind of put everything into your advantage and get that pick is to use map knowledge. So being down here, I'm in everyone's peripheral vision. Unless they're using the... so the people coming out that teleporter will be what's going to counter me, really, but if I'm undisguised, they're not going to see me through spawn with that weird wall hack thing Valve gives everyone, because you're undisguised. So you can use this as a pathway to get your first stab. Basically making yourself invisible by hiding in their peripheral vision. I need to get more health. That spy's probably going to headshot us and kill us through the Dead Ringer. I'm not entirely sure what the knockoff is. If it's what? What does the Dead Ringer give you now? Is it 75? I'm not sure how much of a damage bonus it gives you anymore. I think they keep changing it. I think it might be like a 75-80% bonus, so... Ambi does just over 100 damage. This spy is spy checking. Does just over 100 damage. You know what it is? He's probably annoyed because we butter knifed him earlier. He wants to show us who's boss. That's perfectly fine. One thing you can do is if you keep stabbing a group of people in the same area over and over again, eventually they're going to start spy checking there, and you can use that to your advantage. For example, if there's a pyro that's constantly spy checking, if you can lure him into one spot, you've basically disabled him for the rest of your team, as far as they're concerned. Because that pyro is going to be spending his entire game spy checking. For example, I was half expecting them to one of them to jump up onto that health and ammo pack up there. That's where spies tend to go. So people who are good at the game can kind of read you and expect you to go. Get rid of my slow speed there. So you see, by the way, the bind that I have on Q, if any of you have my config, is undisguised. That does not work with the internal reward, because undisguising is actually disguising as a friendly spy. So what I did there, to ensure that I could get the Matador and the medic, I undisguised quickly, just so I could have a bit more of a speed boost. So here we go, going on a bit of a kill streak. This is a solid kill streak, knife and pubs as well. Because there's basically no communication, this thing is countered by communication. As well as everything, as we've talked about. But communication's a big one. Pubs, there's almost no communication, and in lobbies, there's very little. You can also die to crits, but that's not really as much of an issue for us. Oh, that medic, we couldn't shoot him once more. Maybe not, no worries. Communication's what counters it, so if there's no communication like you're in a pub, then no one's going to shout out, "Ah, there's a spy running around as an engineer." That's what community servers were about, and, you know, Valve kind of bit the ball on that one a couple of years ago. So yeah, you don't really have to worry too much. Here we go, let's speak about how to get rid of sentries. So you can see that sentry over there? What we're going to do is we're going to make sure there's no players around. We're going to undisguise on top of it, and then run around in circles. And that's how you counter sentries. So sentries shoot from, like, the middle. They're quite weird. They shoot from, like, above the model, from what you'd expect, but they shoot from an edge, so not from the center. If you just walk around in circles, it's going to try and track you forever. You're going to shoot me once, that's fine. We can undisguise down here. I think there might be a soldier who'll kill us, but if we just do a little bit of parkouring... Oh... No one's looking at us. Did you see? That we should have died there. We had no right to get those picks. We just ran undisguised in front of them. But what I think happened is that everyone on their team was on the cart. They were horribly distracted by our team up here. So if we just run back to the cart with our fists out. Don't run with your stock fists out for too long, because they'll suspect you as being a spy. If it's like the Gru, it's fine. Drop the medic. But if you have the stock fists out, they do tend to think you're a spy, because... You're going to run around with your fists if it's the Gru to get the speed boost. There's no reason to run around with the stock fists. It looks heavily like a spy-ish thing to do. Here we go. We're in kind of a bad spot here. It's a good place to backstab people from, so we're using our map knowledge to be somewhere where people aren't really going to look up. Potentially we should get the heavy. I was going to get the medic, but he looked around at the last second. The heavy wasn't doing anything, so that was a fairly easy pick. Medic. I would love to undisguise and immediately shoot him, but he has a soldier pocket with him. At that range, we probably could have, you know, even if we've missed one revolver shot, 2 or 3 would have killed him. But here we go, look. Should I have just run straight through there? No. I don't have enough cloak. You always want to have a full dud ringer up, just in case. Once you've been playing for as long as we have, you know, 30, what's this? 30 kills, 3 deaths, 23 kill streak. People are going to start knowing there's an eternal reward spy around. So like this medic, for example, he started to look around a lot. The 2 heavies I don't think are ever going to be that much of an issue. They haven't been an issue at all this game. So we want to keep our charge up. Our dead ringer charge is more important than our disguise right now. Our disguise isn't going to save us from death. Our disguise is going to save us from being shot at initially. People who are going to shoot us through disguise anyway, now they know there's an eternal reward spy around. The only way to counter them is either to kill them, which often you can't do, or to dead ringer away. That soldier out there would have gotten us, so we need to get a different path. Here we go. Come out the window. See how that soldier started to spy check? He might even jump through the window if he's lucky. No, maybe not. So, for example, here, we might want to drop the speed boost in favour of... Oh, there you go. The soldier did look around. Had this have been the start of the round and he wasn't looking around for us, here's their top scorer as well. Despite having no hats. So he's clearly a good player that's just not wearing any hats. Had this have been the start of the round, it's unlikely he would have been spy checking that much, just because it's an unnecessary strain. At the end of the day, we're playing a video game. No one wants to be stressed out, so a lot of the time, people just chill. That's why it's quite easy to play spy in pubs, relatively. Because people don't... Is that a spy? People don't... Don't worry. People don't want to have to spy check all the time. It's a pain. It's a huge pain. So they only really tend to do stuff like that soldier was doing once there's a spy as an issue. But again, you can play around that. We've just shown ourselves. That demo probably should have shot a pipe in our direction. He might have gotten us. The cart's also about to cap, so instead of being active and going back to get the ammo pack, I'm actually just going to... That engineer's definitely not turning around. The medic will probably kill us, but yeah. We want to keep this cart done. It's way more important than me going to get ammo. Whoops. Just kill me. What are you doing? I'm here! Oh my god. It's more important for us to stick near the cart. That team has an Uber charge, so they might be able to cap. What if the cart was further back? I would have gone all the way back there, gotten ammo, and done our little loop again to try and get a disguise. But we need, the rest of our team's doing all right, but we need to not lose. And as a result, we probably want to play a little bit more hard and fast than usual. So we're not playing safe. We might die a lot more here, but it's better dying and having the cart not cap than the alternative. So yeah, you'll find that my playstyle with the Eternal Reward will change as the map goes on. So here we want to stay on the cart. We're being a bit of an idiot. The medic might come and kill it. Backstabs. So that engineer was, despite looking like he was aiming there, he was probably actually aiming here. So when we were looking down, I don't know, that was weird. We were probably like a half an inch away from killing him, which is a shame. That heavy also, sightlines blocked. Get him quite easily there. This little spot here is quite nice because you can see people... Do you mind? I'm disguising. I'm discussing. People from... Oh, that's an issue. That soldier there also. That's a good point to bring up, as well as this. This is a good spot because you can see people coming out of spawn. They probably won't just see your head. So you can see that heavy, for example, walking up and then get them around the blind corner. Blind corners are solid. One thing you want to keep in careful, which I've completely forgotten about, so let's just go back. We want to get our ammo back. Instead of running in carefully to go and get our ammo back from a different... Oh, that pyro probably seen us, so really stupid trick stab, maybe. Oh my god, it worked! That was... I mean... So, that pyro there, it's their good player. Oh god, we're dominating most of the server. That pyro there is their good player, which I quickly saw, and I was like, okay, he's definitely going to come and get us. Probably can't corner stab him, because he's probably aware of what that is. We probably... Oh my god, this loadout. We can probably stair stab him. People don't tend to expect stair stabs on really stupid places like that. Like, that was a tiny height. He was almost certainly expecting a corner stab, which made the stair stab a lot easier. I could just jump a lot further back to ensure it. Normally, so for example, on this stair, if I was trying to stair stab him, he'd just stand back, and I wouldn't get him. Whereas if it was here, or if it was around the corner back there, I knew he was going to cut the corner a little bit more, making it a lot easier to read him. That spy's basically been a free disguise for us this entire game. Also, brilliant point I need to bring up. This is an amazing kill streak, as you've seen. Even in a server with people that have been spy checking, good players, unusual players, people with hats that go without a hat. The most terrifying players are players that have no hats but are good. Because you have no idea what to... Oh, better to get the disguise here than just to kill him with his gun. Oh, you've seen, by the way, I tend to get my disguise... We want him to shoot us with like a really low damage attack, but not the flare gun. The flare gun will kill us. I've been getting most of my ammo off of heavies. Because heavies are really slow, it's really easy to kind of chain gunshots on them. Hence why it's really good there. When the heavy walks past like that, it's been good to... chain ammo picks. Come on, someone else. There we go. That guy on the cart was not a good idea to try and stab him as a result of the fact that he was looking directly at us. So we can just sit on the cart here, actually. Even if I'm not killing anyone, I'm actually stopping them from pushing it just by standing up against it. I'm keeping killing people with button knives. So yeah, doesn't look like I'm contributing a lot, but just due to the fact that I'm standing on top of the cart, means that I can... butter knife heavy to death. I can stop them from pushing it, basically, which is what's more important here. It's not important to get kills, it's important to stop the cart from going over, and this helps our team come in and clean up. Very, very good stuff. Probably could have stair stabbed the heavy earlier, but unfortunately didn't. I probably want to backstab this guy instead of shooting him. If he wants to just give us his back, that's perfectly fine. Had the sniper have looked in our direction, I would have just shot him, just to ensure the kill, or I would have assumed that he was going to go over to the little spots here, try and get our heavy, but yeah. We want our disguise back now. People are going to be spy checking the cart a lot. So, backstabbing the cart is unlikely with good players. Like, we can't get that Zeno guy. This soldier's going to be playing quite fast. Yeah, he's spy-checking, but our heavy will distract them quite a bit. That might have been... Not a spy, okay. Where's that Zeno guy going? He's down there dealing with our heavy, I think, so we're safe to come over here. So yeah, the only stabs we're probably going to want to get on the cart are going to be like that heavy, And maybe the medic, because the medic seems to be, like, he's got a really high sensitivity or something. He's been quite easy to Matador lately. Probably don't want to be backstabbing the original recipe guy. He's, like, the only other guy we haven't got a domination on. Probably watching... Oh! There we go. There you go. That was a great example of how we went back to go get the ammo pack so we could potentially run away. That was a bad decision there. We didn't need to run away there. We only needed to kill the cart. If we'd have died, it wouldn't have been that bad. What we should have done is just run on the cart and hope to get a couple of backstabs there. Shooting them wouldn't have been good. Earlier when there was just a pyro pushing, shooting would have been fine, as it was. But anyway, that's going to end the video. I hope I showed off a lot of cool stuff about the Eternal Rewards. And if you have any questions, do let me know. But that will be all for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.